Thank you so much, and I want to first thank all of our law enforcement, all of our police officers. They're here protecting us today, and they do every day, and of course they often get attacked politically and in reality. So thank you, law enforcement. You know, Ronald Reagan said this: freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, handed on for them to do the same, or one day we'll spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was once like in the United States when men were free. We're one generation away, and we've been witnessing it in real time. Now, I have served in the United States Navy as a lieutenant for 3 years. Proud of it. I was defending this country and willing to risk my life if that was the case. I served for 27 years as a VA psychologist. I worked with men and women who served in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan. They all risked their lives as well. I've been elected twice, actually 3 times, but I've raised my hand and took an oath twice to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all foreign and domestic enemies. The Constitution means something. It is the supreme law of the land. It doesn't take a second place to anything. Not a virus, not public safety, and not politicians drunk with power. The Constitution allows us to assemble. It allows us to have our religion. It allows us to have free speech. It allows us to have property and to run businesses and to make a living. Now, some perspective. 2 months ago, the nightmare started called coronavirus. And a national emergency was declared. And we declared an emergency as well because we didn't know what this was. And it was appropriate to do so. But we soon found out, while it's a serious virus, while people have regrettably lost their lives, while people have gotten sick, and every life is valuable to us, we've learned, following the government putting us in shelter in place, nice word for house arrest, when they've shut down what they call non-essential businesses, which I hate that term, because every business is essential, every job is essential. Just ask the families that are dependent on it, ask the customers that are dependent on them. Now, what we've learned from the data, 80% of the people that have unfortunately died from this disease are 65 years or older. Many of them have compromised immune systems. Many of them have what we call comorbidities, other illnesses. The young, the healthy, generally get over this disease, and yet everybody is under house arrest. As was said earlier, the whole idea behind shelter in place was to, quote, flatten the curve, not overwhelm the hospital systems. We haven't overwhelmed the hospital systems. They've just laid off 200 people at St. Agnes. The models that they've put forward have all been wrong. They said 2.5 million people were going to die. Governor Newsom said 7 weeks ago, 26.5 million people in California would be infected. 26.5 million. When I did my video following that 7 weeks ago, I said there have to be 400,000 people infected every day to reach that. We're now at 55,000. We've had, unfortunately, 2,200 that have died from this. They projected that 500,000 people would die in England. Then they lowered it 25 times to say maybe 20,000. The CDC said, don't wear a mask. Do you remember when they were saying don't wear a mask? They said it'd be dangerous. People put their hands on their face adjusting the mask. Now they said they recommend it, but that wasn't enough for Dr. Brand in this building. He said you have to wear a mask. You have to wear it all the time because Dr. Brand knows better than the CDC. The Surgeon General, again, facts, data and facts should be driving this. Not fear, not panic, not hysteria. I said it 7 weeks ago, it's even more important today. The reality is that 98 to 99% of the people that are infected with this disease recover. 98 to 99%. We are not New York. We're not New Jersey. They've had more than half the cases and deaths there. Unfortunately, we've had 9 deaths in our community, in our county. We have 1 million people, 1 million people. New York has 8 million people, and they've had 25,000 deaths. If we went and put that out, we would have equivalent of 54, 60 deaths if we were comparing it to New York, and we've had 9. We have to stop all of the hysteria. In order to prevent the hospitals, what did the government do and others do? They said non-essential surgeries, procedures can't be done. So people who have cancer treatments, brain surgeries weren't getting them. You needed a hip replacement, you had to suffer in pain. People have been afraid to access the healthcare system. You've had a heart attack, a stroke, you haven't gone to the hospital. These are all the unintended consequences of these radical, authoritarian, tyrannical policies. And we haven't even talked about the economy. What's happened? We've had 30 million people laid off by the government across this country. That's 20%. 20%. During the Great Recession 11 years ago, we had 10% at the height. We've doubled that now, all engendered by government. 2 million people unemployed in California. Locally, we're going to have a $40 million shortfall in this building right here. And all the council members and the mayor who have been completely insensitive to their actions are now going to have to lay off people and have services cut. In a good economy, we unfortunately have 50,000 people who commit suicide, 70,000 who overdose from drugs, 88 million alcohol-related deaths. And that's just going up. That's in a good economy. We have depression, anxiety, mental health issues. You know, some of you have felt it from being locked down. We have child abuse cases that are not going reported. Why? Because there's not any more child abuse? No. They've shut the schools down and kids get protected and they get reported there. So we have kids who are being abused and there's nobody to hear them. We have crime that's going up. Why? Because Governor Newsom said, this is a time to promote my progressive agenda, and he released thousands of criminals, child murderers, while at the same time arresting or threatening people with a year in jail or a $1,000 fine if you violate his order. The fact is, we have seen the Constitution constantly being violated. They've closed churches, they've closed gun shops, but they've left open pot shops and alcohol stores and abortion clinics. Businesses know what to do to make their businesses safe. They know how to make their employees safe, and they know how to make their customers feel safe. There is no reason why every non-essential business shouldn't be open now, and it should be open now. Not a week, not a month, now. In this country, we have the Fifth Amendment. We have the right to travel. We have the right to property. We have the First Amendment. We have a Constitution that says liberty for everyone. This building has been closed, and people haven't been able to access politicians who are implementing policies that are destroying their lives. This building needs to be open, and it needs to be open now. And every politician, all the city council members, the mayor, the chief of staff, their PR person, they should be donating their salaries to help all the people that they're shutting down and destroying their lives. And if they did, this would end in 2 weeks. I want to just tell you, we live in the greatest country on the face of the earth, America. But it's only as strong as we are strong. If we let government tell us what to do, if we act like a bunch of sheep and don't challenge them, if we don't recognize the Constitution doesn't go away ever, ever. It's always with us, regardless of a virus or anything else. We have constitutional rights. All of this is unconstitutional. Let's fight together. Let's remember, we are the United States of America. God bless you, God bless this city, and God bless the United States of America.